Good morning. Happy Sunday. Welcome to my live chat. Sunday chat with Nick. Did not have a chat last Wednesday. I was busy with helping Anthony out with his school project. Anthony started, his school started Monday, and he's beginning fourth grade. And I don't know about you guys and girls as far as kids these days in school, but I remember, I'm pretty sure I did not learn or required to take typing class until high school, either 9th or 10th grade. Okay. Anthony had, part of his curriculum last year was typing and PowerPoints and all that stuff. So for the first week of the summer, he had to do a big project. He had to read a book over the summer and then do a big PowerPoint presentation on the book. So that's what I was doing, helping him Wednesday. That's why I did not have the live chat. There's other things that are more important than YouTube. Okay, hard to believe, but yes, even for me, YouTube is fun, but there are a few things ahead. So going forward, if there is, there likely will be many Wednesday that I probably won't have a chat, just because depend on what Anthony need help in as far as schooling, getting ready for a test, do a paper presentation, whatever it is. But it is definitely a change of time for a 9-year-old kid to have to deal with creating PowerPoint presentation and all that stuff. So yes, we are at a new age, but it is Sunday. How's everyone's doing? I'm glad to see that people enjoy the new series that I plan to do, Slab Talk. I already shot 4 videos for that series, so hopefully I will load at least 1 video a week over the next 4 weeks on Slab Talk. It'd be fun, there's a lot to talk about as far as Slab and all things related to slabs. I would try to throw in just about anything and everything that have any relation to Slab, whether it's buying, selling, submitting, whatever, and anything that has Slab will go into that series, so that it's easier to keep track of what's going on. In the latest news, well, we are a week away from Luke Cage. I think Luke Cage is coming out in a week, the Netflix show. So I'm super excited about that. So for those that are interested in doing some kind of collaboration review on Luke Cage, let me know. Okay, I'm always open to do collaboration with other YouTubers, whether it's on their channel or on my channel. It doesn't matter. You can have it on your channel. Just invite me as a panelist, and I will be happy to talk about the show. We just had to figure out if we're going to do it, episode per episode, or every 2 or 3 episodes we do one. But I'm open to do that, as I have done for Daredevils and Jessica Jones. Can't wait. I'm super excited about Luke Cage. I wasn't too crazy excited until it getting closer and closer to kickoff time, and now we are literally a week away from seeing Luke Cage on Netflix. So I'm super excited about that. On other news, looked like Gambit continued to run into problems with the movie. The third director, okay? This is the third director that was attached and hired by the studio have left. I have had this yes, Mike, I'm here. I figure I might as well start at 10:30 if I can keep it going until noon, until lunchtime, run an hour and a half show instead of 1 hour. So yes, no, I have had many Dan, listener, morning, Dan. I have had many discussion, debates, arguments with people about the Gambit movie. And it's not yes, I have said this many times before. I have never liked Gambit, nor did I care for Deadpool. It's a generational thing. I understand the younger, newer collector that came on the scenes in the 90s love Gambit, all that stuff. So that's all good. Every time I say something negative, Gung Ho Jihad, hello from Australia, I think. Every time I say anything negative about the Gambit movie, all these hardcore fan think that I am hating on Gambit or I am a hater of this and that. No, it's a common sense, okay, when it comes down to Gambit and the movie. As I said it before, when Deadpool was able to become a mega hit for a budget that was like 60, $70 million, all of a sudden Gambit with its bloated projected budget of 200 million has serious issues because right away Fox, the studio, went back to the writers of Gambit and say, what can you do to cut your budget in half, maybe? Ultimately, for those that understand enough about movie making, every scenes, the storyboard is extremely important, okay? The storyboard helped the director figure out how many scenes, how many locations, how many takes, how many days, everything, okay? And all that boils down to per day cost equal total cost. And how many scenes require CGI, how many, like I said, there's a formula that Hollywood use, directors use in order to figure out a budget. Okay, so as soon as Gambit was a mega hit with a budget of 60 to 70 million dollars, right away Fox came back to the Gambit crew and said, cut that in half. And by doing so, it threw a monkey wrench into the entire possibility of Gambit as a big movie, because for a movie to have a budget cut in half, all of a sudden you had to alter so many scenes, cut away so many things, and next thing you know, you don't have a script anymore. That's why there have been multiple rewrites of the Gambit script. Multiple directors have left because you brought on to direct a movie with your vision, and all of a sudden the big studio executive come back to you and say, you can't have that scene, that costs too much money, you can't have this scene, costs too much money, you can't have this and that. Next thing you know, it's not your movie anymore, and it's bye-bye. Okay, so that's what's going on with Gambit. Okay, so it's not that I'm hating on Gambit. I never liked the character, but the reality is that Gambit, as of right now, is just too expensive for Fox to go forward. They would rather take that 200 million that they plan to use on the Gambit movie and split that into Deadpool 2 and X-Force 1. Okay? To have Deadpool appear in Deadpool 2 and X-Force 1, that $200 million will likely make a lot more money than Gambit. So for all the hardcore fan of Gambit, keep on hoping. Okay, that's all you can do is keep on hoping, because I don't think it's going to happen unless they can figure out a way to do the movie for cheap. Okay, so that's my opinion on Gambit. Now the director of Gambit left to take on another DC, another superhero movie, and it's a DC Justice League Dark. I heard of the rumors for Justice League Dark for years. Okay, there had been circulating rumors for a movie that would team up Deadman, Swamp Thing, and a few other characters. I thought for a while they decided to do an animation instead of a live movie, but maybe they still do both. But I thought for a while, I thought they changed their mind and switch over to wanting to do animation. It's much cheaper, quicker. But anyhow, that's what the big news, I guess, this past few days is Justice League Dark, or whatever they want to call it, with Swamp Thing and Deadman is on the slate. That does not mean the movie is going to be made. Okay, just like Gambit, when they announced the movie Gambit, hire directors, even hire Channing Tatum to be the star. Guess what? It's been 2 years now. Nothing, nada. Okay, so just because Justice League Dark has been greenlit, as we will call it, with a director being hired, so far no cast has been hired, not that I'm aware. So let's see how this will play out. I'm not, I have not seen Suicide Squad yet. But eventually I will see the movie, but as of right now, there is no urgency on my part to run out there and see the Suicide Squad. None whatsoever. This summer has been a huge bummer for movies. All I have to say is it had been one big letdown in movies in many ways compared to last summer. So I think the best action superhero movies was Captain America, Civil War. I would have to say, if I had to reflect back the last 3 or 4 months on best summer blockbuster action movies, it has to be Captain America, Civil War. That got my vote for best early summer movies. Now, with the semi, I guess we can call it semi success of, oh, Zuzus, long time, Dan, long time, haven't seen you around in a long time. With the success of Nerd Vision, hello, Nerd Vision. With the success of semi success of Suicide Squad, does that mean that all the villain team movies are back on the potential list, such as Sinister Six? Does that mean that has a chance for, if the Spider-Man reboot with the assistance of Marvel and Disney is a success? Does that mean that Sony is gonna rekindle its plan to come up with a franchise for the Sinister Six? Maybe. I don't know. Personally, I think Sinister Six could work. Mike and Fly say, I think Flash movie with the Rogue Six could do well. See, I think Sinister Six can do well if they take out some member and add in different member of the original Sinister Six is okay, but I would love, this is just me, okay? Once again, it's just my preferences, not that I know anything, and yes, I don't care about comic history in that it has to be the original member as in the comic books. No, it doesn't have to be. For me, it doesn't. I would love to see Sony do a Sinister Six with Venom. I think that would be a really good addition to the Sinister Six. Who would I take out? I would say take out the Vulture. I don't know, but now Vulture is in the movie. I don't know, but I would go with a different cast of the Sinister Six. Leave out some, I don't know, Sandman. I would leave out Sandman or the Vulture. Add in Venom. Um, but like I said, who knows? Now, will Marvel Sandman movie? Well, Constantine is going to be in the Justice League Dark. Okay, I think I barely heard the announcement in the background when I was watching some YouTube videos a couple days ago. I think Constantine, Swamp Thing, Deadman, and I heard one or two other names. Zatanna. Like I said, it's a couple name that circle around in my head as far as the member of the Justice League Dark. Yes, Dan, I'm excited. And the reason why I say Sony might rekindle its plan for the Sinister Six is that Michael Keaton is such a good actor, such a big name, that I don't think he would want to sign up for a one and done kind of role. Okay, that's why I think there is a chance for a Sinister Six movie relaunch, because maybe that's why he signed on to do the Spider-Man movie and then back off and then re-sign. Hello, John, Dr. Vanchilla. But it would be interesting. I would be more interested in seeing Sinister Six than Suicide Squad or whatever other villain team you want to throw together. More so because I like the villain, the bad guys that are in the Sinister Six more than the Suicide Squad. I couldn't care less about Deadshot, Harley Quinn, Boomerang, Diablo, whoever else that was in the Suicide Squad. Yeah, I just didn't really care for any of those characters, so it was never anything exciting for me, the whole concept. But Sinister Six, now, does that mean that Marvel or Killer Croc? Yes. From what I heard, Killer Croc was a dud based on all the review. They said that he basically had almost nothing to do. Yes, Dr. Von Schiller agreed. Out of the team of bad guys, there have been many. Okay, both Marvel and DC have created many bad, like villain team, and the Frightful Four. That's okay. What makes the Frightful Four good and bad for me is, of course, well, depend on how you want to include Medusa, right? You can't. The problem with the Frightful Four is the Trapster. I cannot stand the Trapster. So if they want to introduce the Frightful Four and just use the name and then change the team members, I'm cool with that. Okay, because I like the name. Frightful Four sound awesome, but Trapster with the glue gun? No, absolutely not. Absolutely no. Challenges of the Unknown movie. Oh, Mike, you are digging deep. Mikey Can Fly is digging deep into some really obscure theme and titles. You know, how about I was flipping through this magazine, Legion of Monster. Gorgeous, gorgeous Neil Adams cover. Oh, what a there is zero chance. There is zero chance for Marvel to launch a villain team, even though the name is awesome. Legion of Monster, okay? But I just don't see how Frankenstein and Dracula, that's another studio is already doing that, okay? Another studio is doing their own team of creatures, right? You have the Mummy, Werewolf. Another studio is doing that already. Okay, so I don't think there is. As I put it at zero chance that we will see Legion of Monster, even though the name is pretty awesome. Squadron Supreme. Man, that's like some really obscure team. Dr. Von Schiller got Dan Zerzus hooked on Swamp Thing. It's easy to get hooked on Swamp Thing, okay? But I think more people should get hooked on Man Thing. I think Man Thing is actually pretty decent. You know, I have you know, read through more Man Thing books and magazine appearances in the past year. Speaking of Man Thing, how about this stunning, another stunning Neil Adams magazine cover? Man, dang. Oh, look at that. Oh, how sexiness is it. Oozing sexiness. Oh my goodness. All mine. I'm telling you, as big of a Neil Adams fan that I am, his magazine covers are insanely good compared to his comic covers. I have been meaning to do, another one of my collection videos where I drag out all my magazine. This is so many. And they are big and bulky and heavy. So I'm debating whether I should do a collection video that show off a whole bunch of magazine, or should I just do a video that show off Neil Adams cover magazine. That would cut down the magazines that I have to show in a video by a lot. I have a lot of magazine, black and white magazine, but I think maybe only a quarter or less is Neil Adams cover. So yeah. sweetness. Come on, who doesn't like these covers? Dan said that he had been binging on Man-Thing and Howard the Duck. It's good stuff. It is. I'm telling you, it's as much as I understand that a lot of newer collectors and readers are loving the current stuff, I have no opinion on the current stuff. There is a lot of good stuff that came out in the Bronze Age. Okay, I had to say that the Bronze Age has a lot of. I picked the Bronze Age as my favorite age of all the ages. Okay, it's tough for me to say that, even though I love Silver. Sure, Silver Age contained unbelievable amount of great introduction of many, many, many characters. There is no dispute that the bulk of the great characters are introduced in the Silver Age. But to me, many of the better stories, more memorable stories, I wouldn't say better authors, but different authors. When you're looking at Silver Age, for Marvel, you limit yourself to Kirby, Ditko, Romita, Buscema, Colon. Yes, there are others, okay? But when you're talking about Silver Age, those are the Fab Five. The Fab Five at Marvel, in my opinion, are those five, okay? But when you enter into the Bronze Age, you still have those five. See, this is what's wonderful about the Bronze Age. You have those five authors still. But then you add in Stalin, Byrne, Simonson, even Frank Miller, Wrightson, Pluk. You can go on and on and on and on, okay? That's why, for me, being a huge fan of arts of all kinds, Bronze Age is just so sweet. It is so sweet because you have the Fab Five, but then you add in dozens of other incredible authors with different style. Yes, Storenko. I love Storenko, no doubt. But I don't include him in the Fab Five just because he didn't do a lot. He did a handful of like 30, 40 books. So I couldn't include him in because his body of work, although significant and memorable, to timestamp him into the memory of many collectors, I have to put the other five above him, as in the Fab Five. I'm sure other people have different take. I should do a video, a tag video, where I talk about the Fab Five. I love to hear what other people would put in their Fab Five as far as Silver Age is concerned. I'm sure other people will differ. I'm not crazy enough to think that I share the view of the majority. I'm sure if you talk to DC hardcore fanboy and ask them the Fab Five of the Silver Age, they might go with Kurt Swan, Joe Kubert, right? Nick Cardy, Carmine Infantino. There's, like I said, my Fab Five is just mine. I'm sure other people will have very different Fab Five. Kyle Rowe, all the way over. What was that? Ireland? I'm thinking Kyle is Irish. Are you Irish? part of my friends say not the UK, but maybe he is from the UK. I just think that he's Irish. Yes, I think by the reason why, here's my theory on Frank Frazetta, is by the 70s, he is already world renowned, famous painter. He has voted into the echelon of master, okay? And by that point, there is no reason for him to do comic books, not to get paid $100 a page. He can get a ton of money to do one painting. I think by that point, Frazetta would rather sit there and crank out a beautiful painting once a month and get paid buku bucks to do so than slave over a drawing table to do a 20-page drawing. So yes, his fame, I wouldn't say rob us from his work in comic books, because if he spent more time drawing monthly comic books, we would not have all these wonderful and fantastic painting that he did over the, in the 70s. Scotland. I was sure it was not the UK, but I'm trying to think of I just remember, Kyle, I watched enough of your video to see the background scenery, and it looked, but Scottish, definitely. Yeah, it didn't look like the UK in the backdrop of your surrounding when you're walking around or showing the outside landscape. Kyle said, "That's all right. We are slightly smarter than the Irish, but drink about the same." Yes. Well, anyhow, it's only 11, so I will keep the chat running for another hour. Okay. Definitely by noon, I will cut it off. Let's see what else is there to talk about. I did pick up a few cool items. I need to do a haul videos maybe next week. I'm waiting for 2 more items to arrive. Speaking of which, I got to pay for them. I bought a couple of things over the weekend, and I forgot to pay. Now that I'm sitting here talking, like, oh, got to send the PayPal. So when those 2 items arrive later this week, I will do a haul videos, because I think I have accumulated enough things to do a video. My haul videos are small. They are not half an hour long with 50 books or 100 books. This is not the Mercenot channel, okay? Mercenot can do a haul videos that last 30, 40 minutes and show 50, 60 books. I'd be lucky to buy 50 or 60 books a year. So no, my haul videos are usually 5 to 10 books. So and I do it every 3 months, a quarterly haul videos. But there is an item in there that I'm super, super duper happy about. Once again, patience paid off. I waited and waited and waited for a copy of this magazine forever. I hinted this last chat. The hint was, it's black and white, it's a magazine, and it's Neil Adams. That's all the hint I can give you. Okay, it's sweetness. It is one of the harder copy to find. And you know me, I'm a high grade whore. Okay, yeah, haters gonna hate. Yeah, no, when it comes down to like killer books that I want for years, I am not settle for less. No, it's better to have low grade than no grades. No, not for this book. Not for this book. This book, it was a long, long search. And my God, did I get an incredible deals. That's the best part. Incredible deals. To get a book, a sweet book, a tough to find books, that would cost hundreds of dollars in high grade. And to be able to get it for like $50. Yeah. Yes, Colin. Always about quality, not quantity. And I different stroke for different folks. There are collectors out there that love quantity. Okay, it's the same collector that will show you the collection that have 15, 20, 35,000 books. No, the most I ever had, as I mentioned before, was at one point I think I reached over 13,000 books, and I couldn't take it. When I walk into my office right now with 13,000 books, it was insane. It was pure insanity to have so many boxes. I had long boxes that stack 3 or 4 layer high everywhere in the room. To get from the doorway into these seats, I had to squeeze myself around the stack of boxes, and I'm just like, why? No, that's the end. That was the end of my quantity stage. Nick, I heard you talking about man thing earlier. I have a serious man thing obsession. Yeah. I have yet to procure a Savage Tales #1, but I did get a slick 7.0-ish copy of Astonishing Tales #12. Yes, be patient. Be patient. I got, well, do I have my copy here? It took me a long time. It took me a long, long time to acquire my Savage Tale #1. I have shown that in a video. If you haven't seen my copy of Savage Tale #1, it is in the Author Spotlight Gray Moral. Okay, gorgeous. I got that book. That book is at least a 9. At least a 9. I got that for I think under 100 or around $100. Okay, so is that cheap? No, but for anyone that have been out there hunting for Savage Tale #1, to get a Savage Tale #1 for $100 or so in that condition, great deal. So I have always stressed patience. Okay, wait until you see the haul on the one magazine that I will spotlight. Talk about patience. Like I said, I paid $50 for this book, and I guarantee you, you will not see anything even close to the condition of this magazine twice, 3 times the price. Okay, that's make it even more rewarding to be able to find such a deal, a steal. Raz is here. Hello, Raz. Raz, if you have a chance, go back. Well, I can tell you, in the earlier part of this live chat, I mentioned about Luke Cage coming to Netflix next week. And I am looking to collaborate with other YouTubers to do reviews. So if you want to do a live discussion review per episode on your channel, let me know. We can alternate one episode your channel, next episode my channel, back and forth. Let me know if you're interested in doing something like that. Okay. I have done something similar with um, the Daredevil show, not very successfully because it was so hard to schedule me with the other 2 or 3 other guys. But if you want to give that a try, I'd be more than happy to collaborate and participate on your channel. And I will be patient and not binge through all 13 episodes in a weekend. How many comics to fill in a long box, Colin? Dr. Von Schiller Zerzus is correct. 250. Okay, it all depends on, the most that I have tried to squeeze in a long box was 300. But you're talking about 300 books without backs and board. Okay, I have done that before. Like, well, I have bought a collection before where there was some long boxes of modern books without backs and board. And some modern book is pretty thin. A lot of modern books are thinner than Bronx books. Okay, a lot of modern books are thinner but heavier, okay, than Bronx books, and you can fit 300 in a long box. But you're talking about Silver Age and Bronx. I think Dan Zerzus is about right, 250 or so. Yeah, Kai said 300 if you hate your books. Tight squeeze. That's I call that natural pressing. You can press your own book that way. Squeeze them in tight. Yeah, once you get past 250, it's tough to, you literally have to pull the book up to see what the title is, because it's if you do 250 or so, they still give an inch or two here and there, so you can pry the top and browse through it, and it's not a big deal. Yeah, I try not to overstuff the long boxes or short boxes. There's a fine line. There's a fine line between under stocking a box and over tight a box. Nerd Vision, I find it easier to deal with short box because they are lighter to, I can, basically grab a short box with one hand if needed. Sure, most of the time I don't want to hurt my shoulder or back and trying to be He-Man with the short box, having 2 short boxes in 2 hands. But when it comes down to pulling things and stacking things, a lot of time I can do one-hander with the short box, and easier. It's easier to handle, easier to maneuver with the short box than the long box. I have not bought a long box in years. The last time I bought boxes was all short boxes. Yes, I have damaged a few books here and there from understocking a box. In fact, when a box is not full, as in, unless a box is full. By full, I mean that there is no more than, for me, I consider a box is full when there's less than 1 inch of give. Okay, I don't want it to be more than 1 inch of give. But if there's 2 or 3 inch of give spaces left, I tend to tilt the box. Okay, what I do is, instead of like trying to put spacer, how some people put spacer in a gap to hold the books up, I just stick something beneath the box to tilt it to let gravity help the books from not flipping inside the box. So by just tilting it up an inch, it I let gravity help the book maintain the position. But that's how I handle boxes that are not full. Not a bad idea as far as using real books. I do the same thing on my shelf. Whenever I have books on my shelf, and when all my books on the shelf are stored in these magazine holder. They are easier to pull out, and even when it's only half full, the books don't get damaged by tipping over, stuff like that. So I like to keep my favorite books. The reason why my favorite books are in box like this, because I go through them often, pull them out to flip through again, and it's quicker, easier to keep them in this kind of container than short boxes or long boxes. So my shelf are full of these magazine holder of what I consider keepers. There's a couple hundred, there's like maybe about 600 books, 600 to 700 books on the shelf in this kind of container. They would be like the last in my collection to go. I just pulled that one out because I just finished scanning most of my magazine collections. It was painful. Magazines are big, and my scanners barely fit the book. So for me to scan a magazine, I had to perfectly align it in the right spot. Otherwise, my scanner in the maximum dimension will cut off one or two edges. So to scan a magazine, I really have to align it perfectly in the right spot to scan. Yes, Raz, get those magazine holder. They are awesome. I buy like a box of 10. I think you can buy a box of 10 from Amazon for like $15 or something like that. They're very cheap. They're easy to put together, and I can put say 10. I can put 20 to 25 magazine per box. At least 20. 25 are very tight squeeze, but for sure you can put 20 to 23 magazine in there easily. Okay. I had enough foresight to begin scanning every book I sold from around the year 2000. Yeah, I wish I used to keep all my scan, because I used to scan every book that I sold, whether it's a slab or raw book, into photo bucket. And at one point, I kept everything there, even keepers. And then somehow the dumb me, when my box was full, my photo bucket account, I was too cheap to pay up to expand my storage. So I went and delete a lot of it. Part of me wish I did not do that, did not delete all those scans, because it's kind of fun to show people, oh, this is the book. I had a copy of this book, and that's what it looked like. But they are gone. So in many ways, it's out of mind, out of sight. If you have a choice between getting the same comic, same grade, which pick will you pick CGC? John Chang asked if I have a choice between getting the same comic book, whether it's CGC or CBCS, which one would I choose? The right answer, Ron, is I would choose the one that the most fair grade. And okay, yeah, you got to understand, Ron, I am not a numerical whore. Okay, I'm not one of those collectors that care about the top left numbers and don't give a rat ass about what the book look like. I care. So to answer your question, assuming that the CBCS slab and the CGC slab are fairly graded, okay, they're correctly graded, and they are priced exactly the same, I would put, for right now, I would buy the CGC slab just because the market still pay a slightly higher premium on CGC book over CBCS. When and if that change, then that's a different story. But if you tell me that it's the same grade for the same price, I will have to go with CGC. Um, the interesting thing about the case problem with CGC is that it is so easy to fix. That's the sad thing. The sad thing about CGC in a case problem that it has is that it's an easy fix. Yes, you hear it here. You heard it here first. I said easy fix. I'm sure people I know at CGC will say, what an idiot. You have no idea what you are talking about. Mm-hmm. But I will elaborate more on that, why I say it is an easy fix in my Slab Talk videos. I already shot 3 additional videos for that series. And on the last one, I discussed on how all the problem that CGC had with its new slab as far as the rainbow, all of that could be fixed extremely easily. Would it cost some money? Absolutely. Absolutely. It's not going to be free. Okay. Any solution will require some kind of changes, but the changes are minimal. Minimal. That it is mind boggling that the brain trust at CGC haven't done it. Mind boggling. Instead of like wasting hundreds of thousands on shipping costs, reslabbing, all that stuff. It's mind-boggling on upper management, the business decision that I made at CGC. Mind-boggling. But then again, I'm the last person to say that CGC management are smart. Never have been. Are they greedy, opportunistic? Yes. Smart? Nah, no, no. Lots of Ran Chang said lots of collector will rely on a number on the top left because more have done have well I can't seem to understand what I think I understand what Ron's trying to say, but even though he didn't type it correctly, I disagree, Ron. Okay, I absolutely disagree with your statement, because when you say that you cannot see. There's a lot of flaws on the cover that you can see. I said this before. There are a whole lot of slabs. And if you watch my auction recap, occasionally I will call out a slab that look overgraded or undergraded. You can see not every flaw need to be in the inside and people can't see. No, there's a lot of very visible flaw on the book that will tell you that a book is overgraded. Okay, so people that are just blindly buying from the top left, like I said, is lining the pockets of people that slap books and get overgraded slabs. They are cheering. Okay, people that submit a book thinking that they're going to get an 8.5, but then CGC get them a 9.2. They are so quick to flip that mofo. Trust me, if you submit a key book and thinking that it's going to be an 8.5 and CGC overgraded and give you a 9.2, you can't send that slab fast enough to the auction house for a quick flip or sell on eBay or anywhere else, because most likely, you know where you want to send it? Comic link. Because the bad scan, not so clear scan, will get people to bid on that book, overpay for that book because they can't see the flaw in hand. Trust me, when it comes down to looking at slabs and determine if a book is overgraded or undergraded, I don't need to know what the inside look like. So, yes, Dan, when it comes down to new book, modern books, my choice of not buying modern has a couple of reasons. A, I don't like to spend $3 or $4 for a new book. B, I have limited time. The older I have gotten, the more I want to choose my time. I love all the great TV shows that we have. I can't find enough time to binge through many of my favorite TV shows. So when it comes down to it, and this is the same reason why I stopped buying books in the 90s. When I stopped buying comic book in 1994, it was not because I'm sick and tired of the variant foil cover craze. It was more because I ran out of time. I was busy with career, work, dating, all that stuff. And I'm sitting here with a few long boxes of books from my pull list that I haven't read. That's when I stopped buying. I am not a buyer of comic books unless I read them. Everything in my collection I read, if not more than once or twice or 3 or 4 or 5 times. I'm not the kind of collector that buy things and put things away. Now, is Vision a good book? Possibly, but if I buy it and it's not on my high priority to read, then I don't want to buy it. And that's one reason why I don't buy a lot of new books, because when it comes down to where to allocate my time, right now, reading modern books is very, very low. There are a million other things I'd rather do. A million other things I'd rather do. Bye, Kyle. Thanks for stopping by. Look, hopefully you enjoy the chat. Vision is a modern day Watchman. Wow, that's a high praise there, Dan. Lance, Ofut. That sounds almost European. Nick, can you elaborate on any differences on how CGC grades modern age and silver age books? Uh, Boy, that's a tough question. Um, there are a few nuances to how CGC graders or CBCS graders are grading modern to silver age to modern age. Okay, um, there are nuances of differences, um, and it's no doubt if you look at enough books from golden age to silver age to modern age, you see some discrepancies in how the graders grade. Okay, it's it's not something new. This topic has been discussed many times over the years, and yes, for sure, production flaws are given more leeway in silver age books. Okay, whether it's marvel chipping or production tears, um, or printer crease. There's a lot of things that got a lot of leeway um, with silver age books. Now CBCS has taken to another step where they actually take into account the centering of a book into a grade. Okay, CGC doesn't really factor that. Okay, I have shown examples of 10.0 modern books that are slightly crooked. Okay, there's a 10.0, there's a couple 10.0 books out there that does not have a well-centered wrap by CGC. Was there errors? But now CBCS are much tougher on that. If you see a ugly wrap, CBCS will ding um, that book and most likely will not give it a 9.8, even though the structure of the book is 9.8. Okay, so there are some minor differences between CGC and CBCS. Both um, tend to be more lenient with silver age and even more lenient with golden age than modern books. Okay, that's a given. It's not, like I said, it's not new. Um, you know, it's always funny to me to see newer collector to the hobby, newer slab collector that collect modern books, and they complain that, oh, I see a little ding here on a 9.8. I can't help but have to remind those collectors that a little ding on a 9.8 slab is okay. That's why it's 9.8. I heard this for years. For years, as long as I have been aware of slabs, I have heard this. I see flaws in 9.8. Since when is 9.8 supposed to be flawless? Where does this misconception came to fruition? Why does people keep thinking that 9.8 equal flawless? It is not. The movie 10 with Bo Derek was not named 9.8. It's 10, okay? So stop with the misconception already. 9.8 have visible flaws. It can't, okay? That's just the way it is. Small writing on the cover, not a big deal. Small writing on the cover can be 9.8. I have seen it. 9.6 for sure. And that's one of the many things that CGC and CBCS alter as far as grading standard in order to create and manufacture the collectible series of signatures. If signatures writings, all writings can bring a book down, there's no way CGC or CBCS would have their signature series with everybody's scribbling all over the covers, right? So the moment that CCC and CBC, well, when CCC came into existence, it was a brilliant, brilliant move to alter the market understanding of Overstreet Guide. Brilliant move. I can elaborate on that on my Slab talk, but yes, for those that understand how the market used to work before CCC came, you cannot deny the brilliant move that CCC was able to win. You're talking about a standard that was in existence for almost 30 years. CCC did not came into existence until 1999. From 1970 to 1999, 29 years, you have the Overstreet Guide. Sure, the Overstreet grading guide evolved over the 29 years. Okay, so for those that have all the guides, you will see that the language or the description of the grades alters slightly over the many years. But for CGC to came into existence in 1999 and completely changed the game with their own grading standard, brilliant marketing move. Pure brilliant. Terrence is here. Hello, Terrence. Yes, I am a fan of date stamps. Always have, even as long as I can remember. I have known many collectors that hate that stuff. There are a lot of collectors that hate stamps. Okay, even neatly, beautifully clean date stamp, not handwriting, date stamp. There are those that hate date stamp with a passion. I understand that. Okay, it is what it is. Now, what I don't understand is I know a few people that hate date stamps, but they love signatures. Now, that's when it makes no sense for me. Okay, so you don't like a date stamps, but you okay with an unlegible scribble on your covers. Say what? Yeah, that not that I would do a video, but that deserves one of my stop the stupid kind of moment. Is that okay? You don't like a clean and neat date stamp, but you're okay with some crappy, unreadable, scrawl on your cover. Yeah, that makes a whole lot of sense to me. The action one with a date stamp. Yes, talking about historical. It's that's like I said. That what more can you ask for, right? No, Comic Crack. That was it Comic Connect or Heritage Auction? Note Vision. There's many reasons why people write things on the covers. Okay, there's many reasons. I don't know. Some of them are the day. Okay, just the day. Some of them could be day and month. There's all kind of crazy reason why a distributor, a newsstand would write something on the cover. It could be the price, the discount price, as in 9 cents. Oh, Dan, that would be a cool thing to see. Dan, listener, yes, it's heritage. Yeah, when it comes down to action one, there are very few. I have seen one action one auction off on eBay. That was a big one a few years back, 3 years ago, I think. Um, that went for 3 millions, I think, exactly around 3 millions. But the majority of the action one that you see is either on Heritage or Comic Connect, as in Metropolis. Dave Becker is in the house. Try to remember what issue it is, but I have an issue of Byrne FF run where he signed all the picture he drew of himself in a panel. Huh. I wonder what that is. I had to research on that later because I don't recall seeing that Easter egg. That would be neat to see. It's not the first time that an author drew himself into a book. That I have done many, many times, but I have never heard of. I have seen John Byrne drew himself on the cover, right? For those that remember, there was an issue of FF where he drew himself on the cover. Was I wrong? Fuzzy memory. I gave away most of my FF book that I bought off the rack, most of it. So I wouldn't be able to look it up. Will CGC ding on grading if Jack Kirby signed on the comic books? Probably not. When it comes down to writing on the cover on Silver Age books, it's not going to be much of any ding, to be honest. You know, people make a big deal about writing on the covers, but unless the book is in high grade, it shouldn't matter that much. And Jack Kirby have a beautiful signature, so even if it's not verified, it shouldn't be a knockdown on the grade, because most likely the book you're talking about is a mid grade or low grade. And when it comes down to low grade and mid grade books, writing on the cover has little significance or impact on the grade. Okay. Wasn't that $3 million copy of Action One found in Pennsylvania? No. Well, I take that back. It's the answer is the backstory to that Action One is a lot murkier than they advertise. Okay, that book was originally in a lower grade slabs, and it was cracked out. It was clean. It was pressed. It was beautified into a higher grade book. Okay, so whatever story that people give for that Action One, they left out the part that it was graded by CGC as an 8.0 before, I think, before it was cracked out, clean, press into a 9.0. And it's, like I said, it's, when it comes down to big books, okay, I'm not anti-pressing. The only thing that I have, one of the things I always comment about pressing is that for all the players, all the people that are bidding on these big books and spending tens and thousands and hundreds of thousands and millions, I hope they understand that most likely the books that they bought and won or bid on and won maximize. Okay, dealers these days, collectors these days, for the most part, are not going to leave that much money on the table. If a book can be pressed up, if a book can be cleaned up to raise the grade to make more money, a half a point on an Action 1 can be worth $500,000. It would be insane to think that whoever it was that owned that Action 1 before did not do his best to try to maximize the grade. And he did. Well, I was just looking at the time, and it's 11:46. So the chat will be over in a roughly 14 minutes. So if you have any other question, feel free to ask. Otherwise, I will keep things going for another 14 minutes before it's lunchtime. Is it worth getting pro restoration? Depend on the books. You know, it's a lot of your question, Ron, are in a gray area. There is no right or wrong answer, really. You know, some books are worth restoring and some books are not. And if you're going to have it restored, certainly use, you know, there's 3 or 4 companies out there that do quality work. The best thing that you can do is shop around and get quotes. Now, it might cost you money to send the book, because the only way a restorer can give you a valid quote is have the book in hand. Okay, so you can't send a scan of a book and say, oh, how much would it cost to restore this book? It's not that simple. You know, it's all depend on, you know, what kind of restoration need to be done. Not to say that a restorer can't give you a quote based on some picture that you sent him. Okay, I'm not saying that they can't, but the best thing to do is to let the restorer have the book in hand in order to see what he need to do to restore the books for you. Otherwise, if he are giving you a quote based on the scans, you might end up having to pay more later when he received the book and found out that there's other problem in the book that need him to fix. Okay, so keep that in mind when it comes down to restoration. It's just like, you know, there's 3 or 4 good ones. You know, you can type comic book restoration professional in a Google search, and you will see 2 or 3 different companies that do that. And if you go on the CGC forum message board, you can certainly ask and receive many recommendations. There's a pros and cons to all of them. Okay, from cost to time to finish. Surely, you know, for some people, speed and cost is more important than quality of work. Okay, so there's many things to consider when you had to deal with restoration. You had to balance out speed, cost, and then quality. It's hard to do high quality work for cheap and fast. That's the way life works for many things, right? What's your favorite Silver Age Spidey cover? I would go with Spider-Man 30, 30, 30, 33. I like 31 a lot, but 33 is, there's something so cool about the cover. I had to go with 33. It's hard to pick that. You know, I can pick my top 5 favorite Silver Age Spider-Man covers. I can pick, to me, it's easier to pick like a top 5 Steve Ditko Spider-Man covers. And if I do that, I will definitely put 31 and 33 in there. 14 for sure. 14 for sure. But I'm not a big fan of 1. I think 2 is okay. I think the first Dark Arc and the first Sandman is kind of underwhelming. Even the first, like I said, I find many of Steve Ditko earlier work on Spider-Man cover to be lackluster. Okay, I'd be the first to admit I like the art inside, but I didn't think the cover was wow. The cover that wowed me was 31, 33. But yeah, it's hard to pick for sure. Hard. It's not easy. Old Man Logan asks, do you think CGC will ever do signature verification like CBCS? My answer is no. I'm pretty sure they won't do it because they're making so much money with the signature series. They make so much money. Okay, that is one of the busiest area of their business. They make so much money that it's not worth going into the signature verification mode and do a few books here and there. The CBCS does that, and that's nice, but make no mistake, it's a very small part of their signature series. CBCS probably Slab 50 times, okay, 50 times more books in their signature series than their verification area. 50 is generous. It might be even 1,000. For every 1,000 books, they might have to verify 1. Okay, so it's a very small part of the business, and I just can't see CGC even wasting their time doing that. They can't be bothered with that stuff. The restoration expert Susan has a good rep in her area. She's okay. I think she's behind in her techniques from what I can see. Okay, I have never used Susan. I can tell you, I have never used Susan. I have seen many of Susan examples over the many years. Certainly, one of the areas that I think Susan may be behind is in leaf casting. Okay, Susan, as far as I know, I could be wrong. If Susan had expand her repertoire of skills to include leaf casting, then I'm wrong. Okay, I'm not aware of her latest technique in restoration, but one of the newer technique that came in on the scenes in the past 5 years, 6 years is leaf casting. That's how many restorer has been able to really change and replace missing pieces on the covers and make it seamless. So when it comes down to Susan, I know she did not have that skill set 5 years ago or even 4 years ago. Unless she learned it, then depend on what's needed to be done. Ultimately, when you're picking a restorer, you have to shop around, show your books, get their professional opinion on what they plan to do, look at the examples of what they have done to similar books, and see for yourself. It's a wide range. Okay, picking a restorer is not easy. It's not easy. Bye, John. I'm about to leave myself. It's 11:55, so I am getting ready for lunch. I'm getting hungry. Thankfully, my growling stomach is not being too loud. Yes, Rez. Quality is important when it comes down to anything in life. Okay, anything. I'm a firm believer in life to pay up for quality instead of trying to save money on something cheap. I mean, even when I was dirt poor, I'd rather own nothing than owning something that's cheap if I can avoid it. Sure, when I was dirt cheap and poor out of college, yeah, I bought a car for $1,000, a clunker. So there's a trade-off to everything. But as I move on with my life, I has always tried to not go too cheap because there's a reason why something is cheap. Not to say that buying something expensive will give you quality. Okay, so it's all about research on everything. You can ask my wife. I research to death on everything I buy. I want the best quality. I want the best value. Okay, the word cheap and quick is not in my vocabulary. Consequently point, have you reviewed Suicide Squad yet? The answer is no, my friend. I have not yet even seen the movie. I cannot bring myself to go see the movie. I've been too busy with doing other things, and I have not seen it. And my wife have no interest in seeing the movie. If she, Normally, I try to go see a movie that she wants to see as well, so that we can both have a good experience at the movie. But I didn't care to see it, and she has no desire to see it. So it's on my low bottom rung of priorities. Bye, Colin. Well, I am. It is horrible. Comic Crack, are you saying that Suicide Squad was horrible based on your opinion? I have heard mixed review at best. Okay. And I am probably more open-minded when it comes down to DC movies than many people. I'm not the one that say Batman versus Superman is horrible. I said it many times. Man of Steel is one of my all-time favorite movie as far as superhero movies. So when it comes down to movies, I superhero movies, I just want more. And so far, both Marvel and DC have failed to deliver quality product to me. I have high standard. Yeah, I have heard Comic Crack. I'm sure I will see it. I'm waiting for it to be in the cheap theater. Okay, I think once it's popped up in the $2 theater near my house, I would definitely pop in there for matinee. During the weekday when my wife is working and I have nothing to do, I will pop in there for 2 hours and see it. But I have heard a lot of mixed review, and I have mentioned this before in many chats. I have heard a lot of bad reviews. Not bad in that the movie is bad. I have heard a lot of bad reviews, as in people do a horrible job reviewing the movie, because I have heard many review where the first 2 minutes is, it's a great movie. It's an awesome movie. It's a great adaptation of a comic book. You gotta go see it. Screw the critics. The critics are stupid, blah, blah, blah. I heard in many videos that kind of opening. The opening salvo of many Suicide Squad review sound a lot like that. And then after the first salvo, you hear the villain sucks, the story sucks, the ending sucks. And then I'm like, what a horrible review. That's a complete farce of a review. If you tell me that the movie is great, and then you go on to tell me that the villain sucks, the story sucks, the ending sucks. That's equal zombie fanboy, okay? Nothing worse than zombie fanboy giving horrible, shitty review. Those, homie, don't play that game. Okay, folks, time for me to go. It's 12:01, lunchtime. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Comic Crack, Raz, Dave, Cosiconic Point, Colin, Zerzes, Dr. Von Schiller. Thank you for the wonderful reception in this chat. A lot of interesting topic to discuss. And have a good afternoon. As far as Wednesday chat is up right now, it's on. But for those that watch my earlier videos, now the school start with Anthony. If Anthony need my help and assistance to do a project, to study for a test, to write a paper, then Wednesday chat will be off the table. Priority first. Anthony needs an assistant and help, whatever it is for school, came first long before me sitting here yapping on YouTube. With that being said, thank you, everybody. Time for lunch. Bye.